that recording?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we can have toast. 还有我们还可以在我们的早餐那儿附送各种的配菜，比如说野菜或者一些比较健康的饮料。So we can add like some pickled vegetables as a side or as a gift, give away some more healthy drinks like a flaky drink that's good for the throat because eating KFC is it's very oily, so you might want a drink that's better for your body for the day. So and also for the main meal we can add 大排面、东坡肉、大闸蟹. So the noodles, the pork, and the hairy crab. But 因为 in Shanghai, 大排面 is a very popular thing. Instead of the fried pork chop, we can switch it out with fried chicken fillet or use the KFC recipe to fry the pork chop. And also for 东坡肉, so it's the pork belly. We can use the same technique to deep fry the pork belly, so it has a different taste to the original recipe of the 东坡肉. Yes.
We're specifically talking about Shanghai at the moment.
Yes. Right now. And for the 大闸蟹, even though the price is a little bit more expensive, but you can still use because Chinese people like the cream or the 蟹黄 inside the 大闸蟹, we can use it as another flavor to coat it on fried chicken as well. So on the marketing side, we're gonna use WeChat. We can use QQ. We can have Youku, 爱奇艺, any kind of TV, social media. We can also have Weibo as well, and even put our brand on some 综艺节目. For example, some TikTok or a 综艺节目called 向往的生活, that kind of stuff. Also, we have celebrity endorsement. For example, we can ask Cai Xukun, a very popular modern celebrity. We also have, we can also ask Jack Ma, the president of, the ex-president of Tengxun, right? No, Alibaba. No, of Alibaba. Yeah, to give us an advertisement. Besides that, we can push our new product to healthier options to draw more attention than just fast food and oily food. For example, we can use organic chicken meat, chicken breast, or we can introduce plant-based meat, 素肉. So in America, we already have Beyond Meat, that's a plant-based meat, and they have implemented their patty in Burger King. We can do the same and introduce a healthier option for people in Beijing and Shanghai, because people in Beijing and Shanghai have a very, very busy daily pattern, working pattern, and they have a lot of stress, so they want fast food, but also they want to keep it healthy.
So for the healthy, like you said, you want to like go toward the healthy route. Like you're just gonna put it in like the KFCs, right?
Yeah.
But did you know that there's already a KFC already like came out with a restaurant called
the Hangzhou restaurant?
Called K-Pro in
KTR,
Shanghai.
Yeah.
So why would you guys do that? How you guys already have a restaurant that's for people that want to be healthy, and you're gonna add more healthy dishes to like the regular KFC restaurant? Like, what makes you think that would be effective?
Because we can't limit our options to just one restaurant. If we're gonna make it like promoted, we should imply it to all the restaurants we have in the eastern region.
I think the idea is to have the average person that's going to KFC to feel like they have more healthier options. They might lean toward those healthy options. We come overall with like a wider variety of people, not just those specific people who are choosing to go to this healthier store, and then it'll just give more of a variety.
Yeah, and so there is already a KFC flagship kind of health food store called K-Pro, located in Hangzhou. And so they serve options like quinoa salads, salmon, fresh juices, etc., stuff like that. And it has done relatively well in Hangzhou, and I don't really see a reason why it wouldn't do well in even larger cities like Beijing and Shanghai. I think it would appeal to customers, especially in Shanghai, which is a very large urban international city, Beijing, which has politicians from all around the world, many of whom probably would like to live long enough to hold on to power, so they're probably going to want to eat some healthy food. I'm 100% sure Xi Jinping wants to stay alive for as long as possible. And so I think we can attract a larger audience in these larger cities, and even the Hangzhou health food KFC can attract. And I mean, yes, even if there are already healthy food options in these cities, Kentucky Fried Chicken has never really had a problem dealing with competition. They've kind of blown McDonald's out of the water, and they're currently dealing with a lot of state-owned fried chicken places anyway. And they continue to command a really large amount of the market share. And I don't see a reason why that trend wouldn't continue into health food either.
Just a comment. There's actually a K-Pro in Shanghai. Sorry, I just looked up the article for healthy food that there's already exists, and you guys have any idea where you're gonna put the are you guys opening more K-Pros, or you guys are adding the healthy dishes into the KFC, regular KFCs?
I think the best course of action would be to start off with opening 1 or 2 more K-Pros within Shanghai and moving them to Beijing as well, and then seeing how they do in that market. I'm not familiar with how well the K-Pro in Shanghai is doing right now, but I see no reason why, if those stores start doing much better than even expected, why we can't just integrate the 2 kind of types of KFC stores into one, which I think is probably a smarter idea for most KFCs anyway, is to kind of get that all into one menu. So yeah, essentially to answer your question, I see it kind of being a progression from these separate entities owned by one company into just one store, or one restaurant I should say, that has both, kind of the feel-good, most of the time unhealthy, both Xichan and Zhongguo Cai options, as well as some of these more healthy foods that are coming into prominence not only in the West but also in China as well, and then eventually merging the 2 together.
Okay, so Group B, what's the second speaker?
My name is Kyle.
I will be your second speaker.
So, what I want to start off talking about, since the other team talked a little bit about logistics, I just want to do some catch up here and kind of give our kind of view on how we want to revolutionize the logistics with KFC. So first off, we are going to be bringing up the customer interactions directly into the supply chain with different stations inside the store to take different feedback or fan quake directly from the customers, so that we're able to get ahead of trends instead of just lagging behind like KFC has kind of done traditionally. Additionally, we want to work closer with local farmers to create contracts with them. What we're doing here is kind of a bit of a Walmart strategy. So what Walmart does with their suppliers is Walmart actually has very low inventories on any time on hand. What they do instead is they make their suppliers hold the inventory, and in exchange for agreeing to buy large volumes from that supplier, they deliver then directly to the Walmart. What that means is there's very little in the back, there's very little waste, it's very close to just-in-time inventory. This would reduce costs drastically for the KFC while still able to, not lose any sales due to stockouts or anything like that. And what this would do is, of course, reduce the transit costs and the inventory. I'm sorry, I took down the Chinese words, but
Forgot how to pronounce that.
存货.
存货, yes.
存货. And additionally, in addition to that, I want KFC to be able to partner a lot closer with their suppliers, or Gongyingshan. This is kind of based off of a revolutionary concept that Ducati, the motorcycle company, had when they were struggling. By reducing the number of suppliers in each region, they're able to reduce extra costs, because if you're bringing in chicken from one farm, it's a lot less miles that you need to drive than if you're bringing in chicken from 3 farms. In addition, that brings the suppliers even closer. You're able to get better terms because you're dealing with greater quantities. And if you create a coalition or a lianmeng between these different suppliers, you can have them sharing their best practices with each other. And when all of your suppliers are able to become more efficient, their productivity shoots up and you're getting even more at a better price, at a better quality from a fewer number of suppliers. All of these are going to be increasing the profit margins on the food, or KFC then has the opportunity to bring the prices of their food down to then be selling more. I was talking to my partner in China, and one thing she said was the egg tarts, really popular, but they're kind of seen as a little bit more of an expensive product. So what a lot of people would do is they would search for coupons, and then when they get the coupons, they would go out and get the egg tarts. If you skip out that middle step, then people just go in to get the egg tarts. People are buying more egg tarts. People buy more from you generally. KFC doesn't then become some special occasion. KFC becomes something you go to on a lunch break every day, maybe on the weekend. Suddenly you're seeing a lot more same-store sales at each location, which we know is something KFC has struggled with consistently.
Can you explain what's the difference between contracts with local farmers and partner with suppliers? I mean, they sound really similar to me, though. What's the critical difference?
So this one, we're stressing largely that it's local. But we're pushing the inventory onto them.
Okay.
But with partnering with them, we're creating closer ties. It's that creating that coalition and that alliance between them and making them share information back and forth with each other. This is very much between KFC and the farmer. This is between maybe the chicken farmer and the rice farmer. And making them share what's working for them, what are the best practices, and how can you increase productivity, how can you increase the quality, how can you produce more for less.
Okay.
As for the brand, people go to KFC because it's KFC. KFC managed to beat out Ronghua, and KFC is a globally known brand. KFC is different from K-Pro. Each one has things that they're good at, and people go to each because they're good at it. So one thing that we also found out from my Chinese partners, people tend to buy a lot based on who endorses what. So we wanted to increase the endorsements from different celebrities, or liuliang mingxing, just to increase the amount of people, kind of the exposure, sponsorship. You mentioned Jack Ma. Well, most of our budget, in fact, was kind of budgeted out for endorsements. We currently have, due to lack of the constraints of the other portions of our budget, $350 million for endorsements alone. You get Jack Ma, we're trying for Xi Jinping. Currently though, Luhan, Yang Ming, and Jem are the top 3 on our list. Still working on Xi Jinping. And what this is going to do, in addition to increasing the sponsorship and getting the word out there and bringing in more customers, increasing customer interaction, we want KFC not to be just a static brand, but something that kind of evolves and comes from people's desires. Just in the same way that the northeastern KFCs offer different food from the southeastern. We want to make sure that people feel that as their tastes change, KFC is keeping right up with that. KFC should always be comfort food that people want to eat wherever they are. In addition, there's a concept of a lifestyle brand that I want to bring in. It's the same thing that happened with Coca-Cola. There was that whole big study where Pepsi tastes better than Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola didn't matter. They're going to show a commercial with a picnic that makes you think back to your childhood, and there's a nostalgia factor with it. You're always going to want to buy a Coke with a burger because it's what you had as a kid. And KFC could start doing that same thing by building up their brand a little bit more. Additionally, we want to promote those monthly new menu items. We want to keep things fresh. They've seen great successes with menu changes in the past. And if we increase their brand, it's going to be a lot harder for people to compete with it. Because if KFC is more distinct and you have that nostalgia factor, then even if somebody's offering better chicken, if Pepsi comes along and says that they have a better tasting drink, KFC is what you grew up with. And so it makes it a lot harder for Jingzheng, or competition, to stay up with you. And it's just very difficult to calibrate or copy. And more into that lifestyle brand or 生活方式, you know, there should be a nostalgia that you come with when you enter a KFC. A lot of that can be kind of the general idea of 改革开放, you know, the East opening up to the West. So, you know, KFC should be fundamentally Chinese in China. But what you should get is this idea of opportunity, this idea of 好心生心 or 机会. You know, there should be opportunity. You should be able to feel it palpable in the air whenever you enter into a new KFC. You should feel that, hey, this is a lot of the food that I like to eat when I want to feel comfortable, but there's something more here. There's something that could be a little bit different. Maybe there's a twist on a classic dish. Maybe it's, you know, fried chicken, but in a classic seasoning that you've had for all of your life. A lot of this also comes with high quality service that merges China with the rest of the world. That was one of the big things that set KFC apart at the very beginning, and that needs to continue with KFC now. You should feel that it's simplistic but warm and open. Simon Sinek, a TED speaker among many other things, once said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It doesn't matter if somebody comes along with a better chicken recipe if they love KFC and what it stands for. And KFC needs to stand for, you know, comfort food, but, you know, with potential. Yes?
So for the celebrity endorsement, I know a lot of different companies also use that. And so is McDonald's. They just started using celebrity endorsement too. One of the celebrities they had was Chris Wu, who's like similar target group as like Luhan. So how are you planning to compete against like McDonald's when they have other celebrity endorsing them too?
I think the biggest factor isn't that it's using endorsements. I think endorsements are kind of like advertising. You need to keep up with it in order to make your brand visible. But it's the actual brand that you're competing with. So it's kind of like what you have versus how many people see it. And you know, KFC is already beating out McDonald's. I think as long as KFC continues to innovate in small different ways, they'll have no problem beating out McDonald's.
Questions from your group? I mean, now it's time for questions. Do you want to, like, for 1 minute? 2 people already talked, okay? For 1 minute, if you have questions for each other, you can talk with each other. People can pause the recording for 1 second. And do you need, like, a little bit talking with each other?